Hi, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast with everyone's favorite OBGYN, Dr. Angela Jones. Have you ever been too embarrassed or shy to ask your own doctor about your, girl parts? Well, you've come to the right place to get straight answers. Feel free to ask Dr. Angela anything women's health related. Obstetrics and gynecology? She keeps it real. Pregnancy? She's been there, done that. Menopause? She'll get you through. Young or old, Dr. Angela's got you covered, girl. Now here's Dr. Angela.
What's good, people? This is Dr. Angela, everyone's favorite OBGYN, and I would like to officially welcome you to episode 276 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. I'm on call this weekend, and it has been a real doozy. Probably the highlight thus far is I delivered some twin girls, vaginally I might add, just this morning. It's fantastic. They were a little bit early, 36 weeks and some change, but both baby girls and mom are doing really, really, really well. I've got to just say, any delivery, whether it's, multiples or even singletons, is like so exciting. As long as I've been doing this, we're on like 13 plus years now, every time is still as amazing, as exciting. I still get like all goosey just with births and just seeing families' excitement and all of that. It's just such a miraculous experience. So anyway, we're going to jump right into today's topic. This has been hot, off the press, in the press, all week long. My social media has been blowing up. I featured several articles on this because I'm really interested in your thoughts. Really, really, really hot topic. And it has to do with a recent post in the Washington Post. And the article in particular that I'm talking about is entitled, "Inducing Labor at 39 Weeks for Healthy Pregnancies May Improve Outcomes for Mothers, Studies Suggest." Now, this is really, really, really a hot topic because this is a bit contrary to what we've typically been doing. ACOG's position on this to date basically has been that you should not undergo any elective inductions prior to 39 weeks unless there is a medical indication. That could be anything ranging from, preeclampsia, gestational hypertensive reasons, baby indications. It could be any number of reasons, but basically ACOG to this point has not recommended any elective inductions, again, prior to 39 weeks without a medical indication. Typically, inductions aren't even considered until after 41 weeks when you have an increased risk of things like placental issues, amniotic fluid issues, specifically fluid being too low. All of these things increase with prolonged gestations, i.e., pregnancies that are allowed to go beyond the 41st week. Now, this study is turning a lot of heads because basically what this research showed is that women that were induced at 39 weeks were less likely to need a C-section than those who waited and let labor begin spontaneously. It's pretty impressive, 18.6% for the induced group compared to 22.2% for the other group. Outcomes for babies were similar in both groups. There were statistically equal rates of infection, need for respiratory support, hemorrhage, stillbirth, newborn death, or other major complications. At the hospital that I work at currently, they do not allow any elective inductions now prior to 41 weeks. And I think that a lot of this is just due to the fact that the C-section rate is so high across the nation, and I live in a state where the C-section rate, I think, is in the top 5 across the nation. So part of this waiting to do inductions at 41 weeks and beyond has to do with attempts to try to decrease the C-section rate. But then you have this study that states that women that are induced at 39 weeks have less risk of ending up with a C-section. So this is going to be really, really, really interesting. I mean, the science or data speaks for itself. And being someone that practices evidence-based medicine, I don't know that you can entirely ignore the findings of this study. This kind of hits home for me a little bit. My sister recently had a baby, and first baby, my sister's AMA, and her doctor induced her at 39 weeks. Her cervix wasn't even that favorable, I'm going to be completely honest with you. So that raised a little bit of a red flag for me, but she went on to deliver my niece without any issues. And, she did amazing. So again, what do you say? What do you do? I mean, there are other ways to decrease the risk of C-section, specifically making sure that people are good candidates for inductions, revisiting things like the Bishop score. Every little bit helps, so to speak. So I've been getting a lot of feedback on my social media, whether it's the Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, about folks sharing their induction experiences, some good, some bad, some sort of indifferent. But I think that the take home from all of this is just realizing there's not a kind of blanket policy that I think you can apply here. It's not a one size fits all. I do think, however, that in light of the study, in those women that want to be induced at 39 weeks, I think that it is a conversation that has to be had. And so, hopefully this review of the study and its findings will kind of spark some conversation between, my expectant moms out there and their physicians so that you can decide what is going to be best for you. Woo! That was a lot. And that was juicy because, again, this is a really, really, really hot topic right now. So I'm going to leave you with that. Food for thought. Let me know what you think. And you have been letting me know what you think. I've been reading all of your comments, again, on all of my social media channels. And thank you so much, not only for following along, but for engaging. I'm happy that we can have these kinds of conversations. So I'm going to leave you with that. Think about it. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope that you got something out of it. If nothing else, perhaps it's piqued your curiosity and perhaps it will, spark a conversation between you and your physician. I'm not sure where you are in your pregnancy for those of you that are pregnant, but I think that it's certainly a conversation worth having. If you have a topic or concern or a thought that you want discussed on the podcast, you know how to reach me. www.askdrangela.com. That's AskDrangela.com. You can click on the big red question mark. You can direct message me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All of my social media outlets are on my webpage. I love hearing from you. And if you haven't heard your topic discussed, I promise you it is coming. But we are just being inundated with questions all over the world, which I appreciate. So please keep them coming. So I'm going to leave you with this. I always leave you with an inspirational quote or suggestion. And one of the ones that I left you with recently had to do with waving at children on school buses. So I was driving to the hospital the other day and I took my own advice. I waved to the kids that were on the school bus in front of me and they were so happy. It made me so happy because they were smiling and waving back and just giving me all kinds of energy, which I really, really, really needed. And you can always use good vibes. So today's message from Life's Little Instruction Book, you all know that's one of my favorites, is number 448. It says, "Don't be afraid to say, I don't know." Imagine if people just said, I don't know, when they really don't know. Things will be a lot simpler. Until next time, look better, feel better, be better. Can't wait to reconnect on episode 277 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. For more information on women's health and the show notes for this episode, please visit Dr. Angela at www.askdrangela.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave your own message for Dr. Angela. See you soon! All of the information provided and discussed in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not take the place of consulting a physician. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or illness and does not and should not replace treatment from a medical professional.